Michelle Francois-Walsh is an educator, spiritual seeker, and creator of My Village Well. She's created online and in-person communities where creatives can write together. In this conversation, you'll get to hear about what opens up for us when we develop a writing practice. Michelle shares 2 beautiful poems and a 6-minute writing practice that will support you as you step into more expression. I love how accessible this practice is and how Michelle speaks to the power of community, developing a writing practice, and befriending our voice. Welcome back, everyone. I am here with Michelle Francois-Walsh with My Village Well. And Michelle, I'm so happy that you're here to join us today.
Stacy, thank you so much for asking me to attend.
Of course, yeah. And what I love about what I know of you and the work you're doing in the world is you are making writing accessible. I feel
Mm,
like we know like logically why writing is good for us and what it
mm.
can do, but that first step of actually letting it out on the page, it can feel so scary. And I know there's so many blocks for us.
For
So yeah.
sure. And yeah, yes, to everything you just said. And it's sort of like knowing that we're grown now. And I don't know about you, but one of my blocks was when I was probably about, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. I had this sweet little diary. It even had a lock with a key. And somehow someone in my family who shall remain unnamed read that. And it was like, all right, lock it down, and for a long time, no writing. And I would say in the last 5 years, I've always had a lot of words, but really allowing them to come out and spill out onto the page, um, in the most messy form possible has been really liberating. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Mm. Okay, wait, now I want to stay there for a minute. What has happened as you let those words spill on the page?
Liberation,
Hmm.
um, alignment, uh, remembering who I am, that there's nothing wrong with me or my crazy, um, more presence. I feel like life is all just material and a story, and I find myself more present during my day because I'm writing even when I'm not writing. We start to look
So true.
around, it's just all material. It's like this buffet. Um, So I just feel more connected to the creator and to myself when I'm writing.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. I was watching one of your videos and yeah, you said something about paying attention, that you were just
Mm,
paying more attention to things around you. Or you were
mm,
more in the space to even acknowledge them and observe.
hmm. It's a gateway drug to presence.
Mm. You got to put
Hmm.
that on a coffee mug. Can you speak to remembering who we are?
Oh my gosh. We all came from the other side. We're all knit from magic stuff, but life gets its paws on us. And I would say for me, that probably started to shift around 8 years old. But if we can remember who we were before then, I was like, oh my gosh, enamored with everything, my imagination, my creativity, um, climbing trees, being in nature, mm,
Hmm.
just getting my hands in the dirt, all of those things. It's like that's who I was. And then, like I said, life gets a hold of us and we forget. So I feel like this second chapter is sort of like a great remembering, like a coming home to who we are. Because this little monkey, I was showing you this picture earlier, she's still in here. I mean, there I am, right? Age 5 and 6. It's like I keep that on my desk to remember, be kind to her. She's so sweet. Be kind to her.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And that reminds me of what you were saying before. Can you talk about the first half of our life and second, that
Oh,
concept?
yes. I believe it was Richard Rohr. I was saying earlier, I'm a recovering Catholic. Catholic. So if there's any Catholics out there, good job. And anyhow, Richard Rohr is a Franciscan. So I kind of love him because the Franciscans are kind of like shamans. Anyhow, Richard Rohr says like the first half of our lives, we're filling up, we're filling up a container, we're filling it up with all the things that we think we're supposed to have, all the things that we should do. Have a job, oh, wait, let me back up. Get a college degree if that's our jam, find a partner, have a family, get the white picket fence, have the dog, we're filling up, filling up. And then we get to the second half of life and we're like, what in the actual, like, what is it all for? And we start dumping it out, dumping it out, dumping it out,
Mm.
remembering like, who am I? Who was I called to be while I'm here? And sort of remembering that part of ourselves, not to sound too woo-woo, but that's how I view it.
No, I feel that. It's like this release happens and this recalibration as you make the space that it's like, well, then what gets to come in as you empty and release these things that they're not in alignment with you anymore. So I love that.
And sometimes too, that can feel lonely because there's a shifting happening. And there are folks that maybe you used to vibe with before that, it doesn't quite feel the same. And that's okay. It's just we're all growing at different rates. So I think not a lot of people talk about that too. It can feel lonely at times as you shift and recalibrate into who you are meant to be. And that's why it's important to have spaces like this where we can be like, hey, weirdo, how's it going? Me too.
Right, right. Exactly.
Oh.
And as I was reflecting on all of this writing and getting my book together, I realized that, like, in those times of being really lonely, like through college and even in the postpartum after having kids, my
Mhm.
writing was always something I did. Like, it was never like, I'm going to go write and be productive. It was just this, like, friend that I always had
Mm.
through all of those years. I think it's like 20 years now of writing that just went into this book. And I just,
Wow.
I like, my heart just swells when I think about having this practice and this space. Yeah, I feel like it's really a beautiful thing when we are lonely or we feel misunderstood or outcast, any of those things, like just to sit with the page and let that give you company. Like I'm just amazed at what I found.
I I love that. It's like befriending whatever is going on, in your life. It's like instead of, it's like trying to hold back the ocean, the emotions, it's like if you're able to welcome them, like you just said so eloquently, there is this great release that comes. And, I just shared with you, my dog just died, my 14-year-old black lab. And I have been writing about that goodest, best boy because it helps me with my grief. And when
Hmm.
I write about him, I'm also sharing him with others. And then they have fallen in love with him. And so it's just this like for the things that we choose to share, it's this infinity
Hmm.
loop. But I love what you were saying about befriending it, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. And I totally skipped over the whole part of like what you're actually doing with writing because I got so excited. But so how are you using writing right now and gathering people around this practice? What does that look like?
Well, life is a big dumpster fire, so there's lots of material. I have 5 kids, and so when I first started writing, I was like a lot of people, I had a blog, and I'm like, oh, let me dish the tea about my kids, or just staying alive and surviving motherhood. That has sort of morphed over time, and what I currently offer is either by myself or with a co-host is something called Soul Sauce Writing or Heart Right Soul Writing, and I've learned to use poetry and prose as like medicine, and I learned that through Lori Wagner. I went through a wild writing teacher training, and essentially we read a poem that calls to us, and we read that poem twice. And the reason we read it twice is because the first time we read it, we're like, oh my God, I like need to get that rotisserie chicken from Costco, and then I need to pick up the dry clean. Oh shit, have I changed the laundry? Like because we're human and we're breathing and like focus, what? So we read it one time, we offer some jump
Mm,
off lines, and then we read it again. And
I love.
Yeah, just paying attention to sort of what bubbles up within, and then we riff on the offering of these exit ramps that are offered to us. We just write. Um, we write and we don't judge. Like we listen and we don't judge. And so literally we're just conduits, we're just energy. So the words come in through the heart and out onto the page. It is the opposite of what we did in school. We are literally writing as messy as possible. And if that just means repeating the same line, it's like cranking an engine over and over and over. I guarantee you there's stuff underneath, there's stuff underneath, there's stuff underneath. But sometimes it's just that practice. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of how I hold space when I offer writing classes.
Mm.
And then we share. And then we share.
Mm.
And we do so um, without feedback. And to me, that's been the most freeing part. So there's no need to perform, to be
Mm-hmm.
funny, to put on airs, to have it be polished, because whatever we all just wrote it in the same amount of time, which is like a snippet, like 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Um, and it's so freeing. So that's kind of
Mm.
how I roll with writing.
Yeah. Should we just roll into that and try it out, and then we'll
Girl,
continue, see where it goes?
let's do it. So usually I always start with a blessing. And hey, you can take that word and whatever sounds good for you. Some people call it a prayer, some people call it a blessing, some people call it words, whatever. But let these words sort of wash over you from Kate Bowler before we actually begin the writing practice, okay? And so this is called A Blessing for Being Someone's Person. Here or gone, we love you. Blessed are the noticers, the ones who see the story in its fullness. Blessed are the attenders, the witness bearers, the story holders, the ones who tiptoe to the edge right alongside us, knowing that the very act will break their heart in pieces too. Blessed are those who are amazed by a life lived in its fragility, its brevity, its beauty. Blessed are the ones who stand close enough to say, behold, behold, this is their love. These are the people they love through every hilarious failure. These are their bad habits and favorite songs. This is the marvel I get to know. Behold, this is not a problem to be solved. This is a person to be loved. And how lucky are we, these people, these loves, these precious, precious, precious days. Thanks be to God. Amen. So, how about that? A little
Mm.
Kate Bowler.
That was perfect. Mm-hmm.
We start with that because, again, a lot of us are like running from one thing into the next. And so, let's just take a moment, hear a little blessing, light a candle, and then we get to the good work of writing. And so, I'm ready if you are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a poem today by Danusha Lamaris. This is one of my favorite poems. It's called Small Kindnesses. And I will read the poem once and I'll offer some jump off lines. Feel free to jot those down. And then I'll read it one more time. And then something else might come up for you, and that's yours, because that's how God talks to us. Okay. So in whispers, usually. So again, this is called Small Kindnesses by Danusha Lamaris. And she says, I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull on their legs to let you by, or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat. Okay. So I love this line, like I've been thinking about, it's like, ooh, just lay it down. I've been thinking about maybe another line could be what if? What if? Okay, I'll read it one more time. Small kindnesses. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pulling their legs to let you by, or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat. Okay. So another line could just simply be small kindnesses, and you could make a list. Boom, boom, boom. So one line could be, I've been thinking about. Another line could be, what if? Another line could be small kindnesses, and you just make a list. It's a beautiful way to start. If you get stuck, you can simply go back to that jump off line and use your pen like a shovel to dig yourself, because I guarantee there's some stuff. And just repeat that line to keep the pen moving, muscle memory. And if none of those lines worked, you could use the line, no one talks about it. No one talks about it. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and riff and write for, let's do 6 minutes. 6 minutes feels right. Okay, it's a quick one. So I'm going to set the timer and I'll call us back in 6.
So is the point to just keep moving your pen for the whole 6 minutes?
Moving the pen for the whole 6 minutes. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm beginning to sort of make your way to the end of that piece. If your hand is tired, I get it. Also, it feels counterintuitive to tell people, okay, write, okay, stop writing. So, if you feel like you're just getting started, good, wonderful. You can always come back to it. Um, you can also step away from it and come back to it later, but um, remember, we're just kind of writing for therapeutic purposes, maybe not necessarily to be published. However, there are some amazing things that come through sometimes in a short snippet of time. And so, Stacy, will you do us the honor of sharing your writing, and then I will share my writing, and you'll share yours, and I won't give any verbal feedback. I will simply say thank you, nonverbal, and you'll do the same for me. And there's healing and witnessing as well.
Okay, here we go. It's funny, I feel the need to explain it, but I'm just going to read it.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. It's so great. I'm glad you brought it up. We don't quantify our writing. We just simply like take a big breath and we begin.
Okay. No one talks about it, how cold it's gotten, within the ways we grew separate from each other, so far from tribe and fire, so far from remembering. And yet, in this time of awakening, I am shaken from the trance, reminded by the small kindnesses that still happen in each moment of every day. They will not televise the kindness
Mm.
or show us how we are all connected. And yet, the storytellers weave their stories into the web of our collective becoming, and the warmth gets to move again. Our light remembered, our humanity restored. Perhaps we've been distracted by a story that was never ours to begin with, one that certainly was not true. No one talks about how the story of disconnect is a house of cards and how it was never meant to be a home. No one talks about it, but we get to build a new home together.
Thank you. Hmm. I've been thinking about my black lab Bo every single day. It's impossible not to. The clinking of his collar, the start of a new day, Bo making himself known in my face at 6:30 a.m. But now the silence greets me as we helped him cross the Rainbow Bridge 1 week ago today. I've been thinking about this like the last time I listened to the song Seasons of Love from the Rent soundtrack, Bo was still alive. The last time I made zucchini bread, he would have been Scooby snacking up all the droppings that landed on the floor near my feet. Just like grief light. As I fit my key into the lock of our front door, which I have done at least a dozen times since he died, I still expect him to be right there and for me to pretend like he's talking at me and he's doing the kidney bean dance. But again, I am met with silence. Yesterday, I dropped off his freshly laundered dog beds to the woman from Golden Gate Lab Rescue who gave us Bo 13 years ago. Isn't that something? It's like that phrase called, it's a full circle moment. Yeah, I think this qualifies. And so for now, I ride the grief. I welcome it in because there's nowhere to hide. The love is everywhere.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah. It's, what's coming up as we share is that we get to heal through our stories, that our stories are healing, like just this connection. It makes me emotional, just, just all those beautiful moments you just shared.
Mm.
It's like
It
honoring. Yeah.
This is how we're meant to be together. This is how we're meant to
Yeah.
be. This form of kind of how we do it is it's like the opposite of small talk. You know,
Yes.
it's like raise your hand if you're over small talk, you know. And so instead of making small talk because who cares?
Right.
We get right into it with the writing. And because there's no feedback, it's just like, here's who I am. And now I
Mm,
get to witness you. It's exactly what you said.
mm. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. What's coming up is like for people watching this to maybe start their own writing groups and
Mhm.
find people that they can do this with, because I know a huge shift in my personal journey was when I joined circles and I was heard and I could practice using my voice, right? Like it's a practice to use your voice and then to be heard, like so incredibly healing when we're in those sacred spaces, when we're in those circles, right? I wouldn't necessarily bring your poem to a party and like expect that same experience, but coming
Right.
in with a shared intention and like really
Yeah.
being discerning with who you're sharing with and in what space. But yeah, when we come into these spaces where there's this facilitator and there's a structure and the shared intention, it's just magic that happens inside.
Yeah, and we're
So
all doing it together, like knee to knee. It's not just like, and now go do your assignment. No,
right.
I just happen to be the lady with the Zoom link. Like, we're all just doing the same work. We're all doing the good
Yes.
work. So, yes.
And the poems you picked perfect, and just the line so far from tribe and fire. This is coming back to that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to remember that we belong to each other. So any space that we can put ourselves in where it's like shoulders down, like big Buddha belly, I don't have to suck it in. Go to
Mhm.
those places. Go to those places and nourish yourself because we need you out there.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I have one more question.
Yeah.
The name of everything is right, my village well. I
Yes.
just feel the need that to just talk about the well for a minute, like where that came from and what that means to you.
Sure, a million bajillion years ago, when I was like, I think I'm gonna like start this thing, and now it needs a name. I had a dear friend named Christy who said, Michelle, take sticky notes, take a pack of sticky notes, and just write down every time you see them, put them on the wall. What are you calling in? Like, what do you want this thing to be? And just slap them on the wall. Let them stick there for as long as you need. So I was like, tribe and like water. I kept going back to water. It's like sisterhood,
Yeah.
connection, community. I was just adding these sticky. And I settled on the village well, like my village well. And my friend said to me at the time after, she said, Michelle, think about it. The well is where women gathered together to nourish, and the well goes deep. I'm like, okay, this is exactly how divine works because I was not, I was just here
Hmm.
and it just, and I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of magical and cool. And so that's how Village Well came to be the name of it. I know you had mentioned like the well, it's deep.
Yes. Yeah, what's interesting about that is all of this work that I've been doing has led me to my womb. And when I
Mm,
think about the womb space, it is the well. It is
yes.
a space we go into. But like to do it together in that way in community and have like, travel partners that can be with us on the journey, I think it
Yeah.
makes all the difference. And yeah, it's every time we write or express ourselves, we are dipping into this well, and everything in that well right now is so nourishing for these times. It's what we need, what we
It's
deeply need.
exactly what we need. Yeah, I agree.
Mm. I have nothing else to add to that. Is there anything else you would add? I'm like, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. And so, again, the hope is that you use practices of writing, you use this practice to sort of allow yourself to be more of who you are, more of who you are, more of who you are. And just remember, like, writing is free. Like, you can do it anywhere, anytime. You can talk it into your
Hmm.
phone. I find it's very therapeutic. I'm an old-fashioned girl, trapper keeper with stickers on it. Okay, born in 72. I love this. This is my mode. Some things maybe you'll be brave enough to publish, some not. But for now, just getting into that practice. And if you set a timer, maybe start with 3 minutes, then work your way up to
Hmm.
4. You're just cranking it. You're just cranking the wheel to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
I love the cheap notebooks. I always use them. Just, I have my sketchbooks too, but the notebooks are just so free. And it's like, this thing was like $4 and here we go. And we're
Yeah,
just gonna.
and you know what I realized, Stacy, is
Mhm.
I have probably 20 of those in a trunk at the foot of my bed. And in my trust for my husband and I need to tell my oldest kids, please burn them. Like, don't be looking in there wanting to know what more about your mom. No, the
You
things
are
your
not
mom
the
wanted
first
you to know.
person.
Yeah, your mom has published the pieces you want to know. Burn the rest of it, please, out of
This is me
respect and honor.
processing life, okay? This is not like passing on. Yeah. No, I've heard that before. Yes,
This is
absolutely.
me maybe calling one of my kids an a-hole because I'm like overwhelmed. And like, you don't want to know that about your dead mom. Like, just burn them.
It was better on the page than towards them, right? Like it got to just land there and go.
Released it.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the practice of writing is wonderful. It's been really therapeutic for me. It sounds like for you too. And so, come on, we're asking you to dip into the pool and write with us.
Yes. Oh, that's the perfect segue, actually. Do you want to share your gift you're
Sure.
offering?
Yes, at the village, we gather not only for writing spaces, but we also host a space called the Self-Love Project. And we host that on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. online Pacific time. And we have different teachers come in once a week. And so during the month of November, we've got 3 fantastic teachers coming. John Rodell is, I believe, coming on the 11th. Then we've got Amy Blair coming to do some creative good stuff with us the following week. And then Maggie Nazaro, who's a spiritual guide, coming that last week. And it's a space where we gather in community, we learn a little something, and then we head on out. And so if you're interested in that, please come. You can register online using the promo code GUEST in all capital letters and come and join us for free.
Mm, awesome. Yeah, that's so generous. You can experience more of this and connect to
Mhm.
other writers as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So please
cool.
come.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I feel like I got some things out that I didn't even know needed to come out. So,
Hmm. Thank you for coming and hosting the space and being open to try it. Thank you.
this conversation is part of the Write from the Heart retreat that I designed for the release of my new book, Rose Unfolding. You can click the links in the description below to sign up for the retreat and learn more about my new book. When you purchase the book, you'll get free access to the retreat, a meditation to activate your voice, and a playlist to support you and your voice in your next level of expression.